हरे हरे। ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे विभूति योग नाम दशम अध्यायः। हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू सो मच।
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for beautifully reciting chapter 10, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, such a beautiful recitation. Thank you so much, Mataji.
So, I will start. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Yashomati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago, welcoming all of you for the mid-morning japa session. I thank all of you for attending this session and giving your beautiful association and time. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. Let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. Before we start, may I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Preethivilasini Devidasi from Atlanta. Thank you for your warm welcoming and thank you, Kirtida Mataji, for the very, very beautiful recital.
Hare Krishna, Preethivilasini Devidasi Mataji, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, and all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining and giving your beautiful association, and I am eagerly waiting for your nectar, sweet from your mouth, and also grateful for your beautiful services to Bhakti Sangha, Mataji. So grateful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danpat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Vrinda. Pray for me that after 2 weeks, qualified to give services for Sri Jagannatha festival.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day, morning and mid-morning session, and very beautifully chanting Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Yasumati Priya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sushmita from Canada. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Kirtika Mataji, for reciting so beautiful, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Hare Krishna Sushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining, and very, very grateful for your services to Bhakti Sangha every single time, and beautiful chanting. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, so glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Preethivilasini Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Kirtida Sundari Devidasi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and for grateful for your services every day. And very beautifully you recite chapter 10, Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would? Yeah, so welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Before we start the session, I would like to read the Srila Prabhupada's quote for today, May 23rd. You cannot stop fighting between the dogs and cats. Why there is fighting? Because the dog is thinking, I am dog. The cat is thinking, I am cat. Similarly, if I think as Irishman or I am Englishman, it is the same thing as the dog is thinking, I am dog. So, if I think I am Irishman, I am Englishman, I am no better than the dog, as we cannot stop the fighting between dogs. Similarly, so long people will remain in bodily concept of life, the fighting cannot be stopped. Rome, May 23rd, 1974. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, so welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group. Today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Preethivilasini Devi Dasi Mataji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata chapter 10, verse number 231 onwards. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much Mataji for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata, our Mahaprabhu's Leela. I now hand over call to you, Prabhu, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. We'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrpatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Krishna Chaitanyamishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are reading from Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, and this is Madhya Khanda, and we are in chapter 10. We are in chapter 10, and currently the verses that we are covering will be from 231 onwards. So I'll share screen and let's start with some questions. Let's see if you all remember. Who is the devotee that is talking to Mahaprabhu while Mahaprabhu is revealing his you all know Mahaprabhu is giving darshan. Oops, I'm so sorry. The whole thing collapsed. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Who is the devotee who's talking to Mahaprabhu at this time? Anybody knows? Mahaprabhu is giving his mercy, right? He's giving his mercy to all the
Mukunda.
Mukunda.
Mukunda. Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see. And so Mukunda is talking to the Lord. And what was happening was Mukunda actually inside when Lord was giving darshan during his Mahaprakash Leela, or was he outside? Initially.
He was outside.
He was outside. Yes. And who was begging mercy for Mukunda? There was one devotee who went to the Lord and asked, please give your mercy unto Mukunda. Who was that devotee?
Srivas Thakur.
Srivas Thakur.
Srivas Thakur. Very good. Very nice. So, and what did Mahaprabhu tell? Mahaprabhu said he wouldn't give his darshan. Why? Because what was Mukunda doing?
He was mixing with Mayavadis.
Mayavadis.
With the Mayavadis.
He was mixing with Mayavadis and his devotional service was unsteady. And he was like a khada jhatiya, meaning sometimes he held a straw in his teeth like a devotee, and sometimes he would beat the Lord with a stick like a Mayavadi. And he was trying to deny the supremacy of devotional service, mixing with the Mayavadis, who deny that the devotional service is the way to ultimate perfection. So, hearing that the Lord had rejected him, Mukunda, he thought, it's better to just give up my body. And he goes and asks Srivas Thakur, who was very affectionate towards him, who was trying to grab Mahaprabhu's mercy and bestow it on him. He asked Srivas Thakur to go and ask Mahaprabhu whether he would ever get his darshan, right? Then, when Srivas Thakur asked Mahaprabhu, will Mukunda ever get your darshan? What did the Lord tell? After how many lifetimes would Mukunda get?
10 million lifetimes.
Wow, you have such great memory. 10 million lifetimes. Yeah, after 10 million lifetimes, Mukunda would surely get Mahaprabhu's darshan. Darshan means have sakshatkara of the Lord face to face. Okay. And was Mukunda very upset about this, or he was happy?
He was very happy. Started dancing. Dancing.
Yes, he started dancing. He started dancing. He was so happy, and it was so genuine. He was just not making a show. From within, he was genuinely ecstatic. And he thought, oh, I have so much hope. I have so much hope. I can really see the Lord face to face. So he was very excited and he started dancing. And then Mahaprabhu, he calls him and he forgives all the offenses of Mukunda. And the Lord says, I will eternally reside in the tongue of Mukunda. You all know that Mukunda is a great singer. He was a very great singer. So whenever he sings in his kirtan, the Lord will always reside on his tongue. Okay. So then Mukunda, he condemned himself for being devoid of devotional service. And he begins to narrate the greatness of devotional service by citing his own example as to how he could have kind of missed the path by mixing with non-devotees. And he also cites the examples of many great devotees who attained perfection through the process of devotional service. So that is what we are going to see today. So today, what are we going to see? We are going to see how Mukunda was telling how he could have missed the bus just because he was associating with the Mayavadis and the greatness of devotional service. Okay, I will slowly move my document so that we can share screen nicely this time. 231. Yeah. Before that, I'll offer prayers to Mahaprabhu and then we'll get started. Ajanulambita bhujao kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalayadakshau Vishwambharau dvijavarau yugadharmapalau Vande jagatpriyakarau karunaavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtistasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityastasya Vishveshvamurter Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam. Okay, so 231 onwards, Madhya Kanda, the episode of Mukunda seeing the Mahaprakash. 231. हेना भक्ति मोराचारा मुखे न मानीला ये बड़ा कृपा तोरा तथापि रहीला. Mukunda said, I disrespected such glorious devotional service with my mouth. It is only because of your mercy that I am still alive. In spite of the million offenses we do towards bhakti and bhaktas, it is only by the causeless mercy of the Lord and his devotees that we even stay alive in this world. That's a very profound statement. 232. Ye bhakti prabhave shri ananta mahabali ananta brahmanda dhare hai kutuhali. Even the most powerful Sri Ananta effortlessly holds innumerable universes by the influence of this devotional service. So you can imagine how devotional service can empower everybody. We can even perform the unbelievable tasks. Before we came to devotional service, maybe we were not so talented. Maybe we never had many qualities. But after coming to bhakti, automatically the empowerment is bestowed unto you by the mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga. Right? All of you have had this experience. Maybe before coming to devotional service, we couldn't do many things. But once we accept our service, the empowerment has already come and we are able to execute it by the mercy of the Lord. So here Mukunda is telling, even that great Ananta, he, by the influence of the devotional service that he is performing, he's getting all the strength to hold up all the different universes. 233, how is he holding up this universe? Sahasra phanara eka phani bindu yena Yeshe matta prabhu nahi jane achayena. He's so intoxicated. How is he performing devotional service? He's so intoxicated by chanting your glories that he does not even notice the universes are resting like a drop on one of his 1,000 hoods. So is Ananta having trouble holding up the universe? No. It's very easy for him. He's not even understanding that there is a universe sitting on top of his head or on the top of his hoods. So he's finding it so easy. How is he finding this devotional service so easy? Because he's absorbed in your glories. You all know that Ananta is continuously chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. And there is a transcendental competition between Ananta and the Lord. The Lord is performing more and more pastimes, and Ananta is not getting a chance to complete glorifying Krishna because Krishna is unlimited and Ananta's foods are unlimited. And with his unlimited mouths, he's trying to glorify the unlimited qualities of Krishna. And because he's so absorbed in the qualities and glories of Krishna, this heavy task of holding these universes is not even bothering him. There is a very, very beautiful analogy that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 7th canto. The analogy says that once you're absorbed in devotional service, it becomes very, very easy for you to take on anything. It's like a person who's wearing shoes and able to cross over a path filled with pebbles. So imagine if you have to cross over a road that is full of pebbles and rocks and sharp stones. It becomes very difficult if you're barefooted. But a devotee who's absorbed in devotional service, he gets the padding of a footwear that bhakti protects him so nicely that it appears that he's got that padding of a footwear so that he's able to cross this rocky path very easily. So the life that we are in, this material world, it is full of such rocks. It is full of pebbles and rocks and whatnot. It is not easy. Anyone who's in this material world has a million problems. There is not a single person who doesn't have problems, right? We are constantly tormented by Adhyatmik, Adidaivic, and Adibhavik. And it appears that there is no break. Continuous problems people have. So, but if you've taken up devotional service and you're absorbed in chanting the glories of the Lord, if you're absorbed in hearing the glories of the Lord, then it is like that person who has been awarded a suitable footwear, suitable shoes to cross over that terrible path. It's a very beautiful analogy that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think this is in the chapter where Narada Muni talks about a person, civilized human. Yeah, you can see the screen. You can see Veda base here. I think we should be able to see the screen. This is the text number 17. Here we go. A person who has suitable shoes on his feet, there is no danger even when he walks on pebbles and thorns. For him, everything is auspicious. Similarly, for one who's self-satisfied, there is no distress. Indeed, he feels happiness everywhere. What kind of self-satisfaction are we talking here? The previous verse tells it is all about devotional service. The previous verse says one who's content and satisfied and one who links his activities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you're linking your activities continuously towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's residing in all of your hearts, then you will enjoy transcendental happiness even without endeavoring for your livelihood. So whether you're endeavoring or you're not endeavoring for your livelihood, either way, you will enjoy transcendental happiness. Where is such happiness for a materialistic man who's just impelled by lust and greed, and who therefore wanders in all directions with a desire to accumulate wealth? And then he talks about this analogy. For a person who has suitable shoes, there is no danger even when he walks on pebbles and thorns. For him, everything is auspicious. Similarly, for one who's always self-satisfied, there is no distress. Indeed, he feels happy everywhere. So that's what happens even with Ananta, because Ananta is so absorbed in the glories of the Lord. He's so intoxicated chanting the glories of the Lord. He does not even notice the universes that are resting like a drop on one of his thousands of hoods. Another analogy is given. It is like a mustard seed, right? How difficult it is to hold a mustard seed. If there is a mustard seed in your hand, would you even feel its existence? You will not feel. So like that, Ananta feels that this universe is like a mustard seed. But how does he feel it? He feels that because he's constantly absorbed in chanting the glories of the Lord. Nirashraye palena karena sabhakara bhakti yoga prabhave esabha adhikara. Ananta independently maintains everyone. This is only possible by the influence of his devotional service. Whatever we do, it is all possible only because of the bhakti that we have taken up. By the mercy of this bhakti devi, that we are able to do anything at all. He na bhakti nama nilun muni papa mati asesha janme o mora nahi bahagati. Now Mukunda is telling that I am so sinful that I did not accept such devotional service like great devotees. Therefore, I will not achieve this goal of life even after unlimited births. So he says that, yeah, what to talk of one or two births, even after unlimited births, I don't know if I will ever see the Supreme Lord face to face. It appears impossible for me because I did not accept such devotional service like other great Mahajans. And he says, he begins to glorify Bhakti. He says, Bhakti yoge gaurapati haila sankara Bhakti yoge narada haila munivara. He picks the name of two great devotees, two Mahajans. One is Gauripati, not Gaura, Gauripati, and the other is Narada, who's Munivara. Who is Gauripati? Anybody?
Mahadev,
Shiva.
Shankara, Shiva, yes. So on the strength of devotional service, Shankara became the husband of Gauri. And on the strength of devotional service, Narada became the greatest among sages. Now, what is the story of Shankara and Gauri? Let's see what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to tell us. So he says, the devotional service of Gauri's husband is explained in the Brahma Vaivart Purana, chapter 6, as follows. When Lord Sri Krishna desired to give Sati as a wife to Shankara, Lord Shiva spoke as follows, my Lord, I do not wish to have a wife. Please give me my desired benediction. I don't need a wife, but I need one benediction. What is that benediction? My desire for your devotional service is increasing day and night, and I'm not satiated by chanting your names and serving your lotus feet. What a beautiful benediction to ask. So he says, hope my devotional service keeps increasing day and night, and I should not feel satiated just chanting your name. 2-3 times I should not be satiated. I would want to chant your names continuously and serve your lotus feet. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Narada Muni asks this benediction from Krishna. He says, give us a benediction that when a person performs devotional service, he should just not feel satisfied by performing a few times. Maybe you just have the service of cooking, you just cook 3-4 times and you're satisfied and you feel like, I'm done, I did bhakti. A person should never feel like that. A person should go on wanting to do it over and over, and it should be insatiable. That is one of the benedictions. Narada Muni asks Krishna in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and Krishna laughs and he says, what kind of benediction is that? That is the very nature of devotional service. That is how devotional service is supposed to be. That benediction is already granted when bhakti came into existence itself, meaning it's always there. It is an inherent part of bhakti. So similarly, Lord Shiva also says, oh my Lord, I do not wish to have a wife. You're telling me I should take a wife, but I don't wish to have a wife. Please give me the desired benediction that my desire for your devotional service is increasing day and night, and I'm not satiated by chanting your names and serving your lotus feet. Oh my Lord, may I constantly sing your most auspicious name and qualities with my 5 mouths. He's Panchamukha, right? Shiva's Panchamukha. So he wants to sing with all his 5 mouths. Sesha has thousands of hoods. With his thousands of hoods, he's chanting the glories of Krishna. Here is Lord Shiva, who's Panchamukha, and he's telling, with my 5 mouths, I want to continuously chant your glories. Whether I'm wandering in dream or in wakefulness, I just want to chant your auspicious name and qualities. He says, material enjoyment, yoga, austerities, these things, they don't appeal my mind. Actually, Shiva is known as the greatest yogi. And this greatest yogi is telling these things, they are not appealing my mind because, for I wish to eagerly meditate on your enchanting form for millions of kalpas. Even if I have to do all this yoga and meditation, it should be only on your enchanting form. I don't have to be celebrated as the greatest yogi because I perform great yoga and austerities for name and fame. Rather, this yoga and austerities should be on your enchanting form, and it should go on and on and on for millions of kalpas. And may my happiness not be interrupted while serving you. This is so beautiful. Sometimes our happiness is interrupted when we are performing bhakti. We perform devotional service for some days, and then suddenly it appears that we are losing taste. Why does that happen? People explain it as because of offenses. It could be because of offenses that we are losing taste. And then we have to think, oh, I have to probably go and ask for apology, or did I do a mistake? You all know different stories of Rupa Goswami, how this lame person walked by and his meditation got interrupted. So like that, sometimes our happiness is interrupted. So Lord Shiva is telling, I don't want my happiness to be interrupted while serving you. Of course, Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. He's not going to make any aparadh. So but still, as a devotee in the mood of humility, he expresses, he asks the Supreme Lord, I hope my happiness is not interrupted when I'm serving you, when I'm offering obeisances unto you, and when I'm chanting your holy names. But when these activities are finished, my happiness is also. Meaning, he says, if I stop chanting your holy names, or I stop meditating on your beautiful form, my happiness stops. But I wish that this meditation and this chanting just keeps continuing forever. That way my happiness in seeing you also continues forever. He says, O Lord, O giver of benedictions, please bestow upon me the 9 forms of devotional service. So that, what are the Navavida Bhakti? Anyone wants to say Navavida Bhakti?
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Ka Adasevanam Archanam Vandanam Sakyam Atmanivedanam.
Beautiful. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. And what is Lord Shiva asking? Very much like Prahlad Maharaj, he's also asking, bestow upon me the 9 forms of devotional service so that I can constantly remember your pastimes, chant and hear your glories and qualities, meditate on your attractive form, offer obeisances unto your lotus feet, surrender fully, and eat your remnants. Eat your remnants is very important. Yes, he says, in Navavida Bhakti, he has added prasadam eating also, which is very important for all of us. And of course, where is all this coming from? Where was the praman for all of this? It was from Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Do you want to see what Brahma Vaivarta Puran says? Exactly. It says the same thing, what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has written. Okay. Here is Brahma Vaivarta Puran. I've opened it for you all. So the context is, Lord Krishna gives all the consorts to all the demigods and everybody. Okay, all the Ishwaras and other demigods. He gives their respective consorts after creation has happened. So what does he say? He says, thereafter, Lord Krishna summoned Lord Shiva who's the best of the yogis, and he said to him, you better accept the goddess who rides on the lion. So what is Krishna doing? He's telling, please accept Durga as your wife. This is the context that we're talking about in this verse, right? In Caitanya Bhagavata. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says in Brahma Vaivat Puran, it is mentioned that when Gauri was given to Shankara, Shankara said, I don't need a wife, I just want to perform bhakti, right? That is what is explained in the 6th chapter of Brahma Vaivat Puran, 1st khanda. So Krishna tells, O Shiva, best of yogis, please accept Durga Devi as your wife. And what did Shiva do? Shiva smiled on hearing these words of Lord Krishna, and he meekly spoke to Krishna. He didn't tell this out of anger, haste, or attitude, or pride, nothing of that kind. In a very humble way, he said to Lord Shiva, he said to Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva said, just like an ordinary man, I am unable to accept the goddess of nature, Maya Devi, because she is going to detract my mind from your devotion and she would obstruct the path of serving you. She can overshadow the true knowledge, and she is the door of the yogic practices. Can suppress the desire for salvation. She is passionate and she can increase passion in a person. So what is Lord Shiva doing here? He's telling, what if I get distracted from bhakti because of the influence of Maya? And how does he say this? Of course, he's not like an ordinary man, but he puts himself in the shoes of an ordinary man. And he says, like an ordinary man, I am unable to accept Maya. He says, like an ordinary man. Very similar to yesterday's class, we heard the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Initially, Prahlad Maharaj was also talking about this. He put himself in the shoes of a materialistic person, and he was telling how Maya can actually influence a person. But later, towards the end of the prayers, he says that, but Maya cannot do anything to a devotee, right? Very similar to Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Initially, Lord Shiva puts himself in such a situation, and he says, oh, that will only be a distraction. I don't want my devotion to be interrupted in any way. He says, my devotion for you is always on the increase. I do not feel satisfied by serving you, reciting the names of Lord Ram. I find no satisfaction, meaning I just want to keep chanting more and more. Satisfaction in the sense, contentment. I've chanted 10 times, I'm very content. It's not like that. Lord Shiva is telling, I just want to keep chanting your holy names. Whether awake or asleep, I intend to recite your name with my 5 mouths and wander in the universe. See how nicely Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has verbatim picked up these verses from Brahma Vaivat Puran, and he's put it in one purport, in one commentary. All these verses we just read, these are individual verses in this Purana. He says, with my 5 faces, I want to continuously chant your holy names, continuously recite your glories. For crores of kalpas, I want to meditate on you. I was therefore never attracted to passion. By serving you, by adoring you, by reciting your name, I derive divine pleasure. A short detraction from your meditation unnerves me. O Lord of the boons, in order to recite your qualities and your name, Japam, Kirtanam, and get engrossed in your beautiful form, to serve at your lotus feet, bowing in reference to your lotus feet, and to eat and offering you first are the 9 times of bhakti which may be granted to me. Exact same thing. Exact same thing is mentioned here also. So he's asking for the 9 types of devotion service. So it's a very interesting section, I thought, about how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even in those days, what access did we have to all this online database and things like that? But he put everything together directly from the Brahma Vaivarta Puran. And that was very, very beautiful. And Lord Shiva continues to say, I, Lord Brahma, and other demigods on the pure-minded sages have all surrendered wholeheartedly to you, our dearmost self and Lord. Let us worship you, the Supreme Lord, to be free from material life. You are the maintainer of the universe and the cause of the creation and destruction. Equipoised and perfectly at peace, you are the true friend, self and worshipable Lord. You are one without a second, the shelter of all the worlds and all souls. Okay, so these are the prayers offered by Lord Shiva when Krishna gave Gauri as the wife to Lord Shiva. Now, there is one more example mentioned in this verse. It is said that on the strength of devotional service, Narada became the greatest of all sages. So this is obviously very, very simple. Everybody knows the story. This is from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5 and 6, the story of Narada Muni becoming a devotee. I don't have to tell the story to you all. You all know this very well. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also reminding us in this purport. I thought the purport was written so beautifully, and it is sprinkled with his realizations as well. So let's see what he says quickly, and then we'll take some realizations directly from Bhagavatam also. So, Canto 1, chapters 5 and 6 is as follows. Long ago, the great sage Narada took birth from the womb of a maidservant who engaged in the service of sages well versed in Vedic literatures. When the sages remained together at one place during the period of Chaturmasya, she steadfastly served them and ate their remnants. As a result, the mirror of the heart was cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. How is Cheto Darpana Marjanam happening here? Because she took the remnants, she served the Vaishnavas. As a result, the mirror of the heart was cleansed and she developed taste for Bhagavata Dharma. Later on, those sages were leaving to other places and they instructed her in the most confidential signs of the absolute truth. In due course of time, after his mother left the body, Narada gave up all hesitation for loudly chanting the holy names. This is very, very important. Loudly chanting the holy names. We are talking about seeing Krishna face to face. That is what Mukunda is also talking about. When will I see you face to face? Maybe after thousands of births. But when can this be accomplished? Only when you chant loudly the names of Krishna. Harinam must be done loudly in ecstasy. That is when actually our bhakti can get perfected. Again, the story of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the climax is at this point. Gopakumar, he traveled through many, many universes and he had several experiences. And he even went up till Vaikuntha. He even went there, but still he was very sad because he wanted to play with Krishna. He was in Sakyaras. So he wanted to play with Krishna. He wanted Krishna to play the flute and he wanted to dance and sing with Krishna. But to go to Goloka Vrindavan, it was not easy. So Narada Muni gives him this instruction in the final few chapters. He says, you cannot go to Goloka Vrindavan like this. Yes, you have a Gayatri mantra. He had the Gayatri mantra, one of the Gayatris. He was chanting the Gopal Gayatri. But in spite of having the Gayatri, you know what is most important? Gayatri doesn't take you to Goloka Vrindavan. Yes, Gayatri expresses, that is, the speed has increased in which you can perform devotional service and attain perfection. But what can really take you to Goloka Vrindavan? It is the loud chanting of the holy names without any reservation or hesitation. When are we going to do that? At least for me, I think it's million births away. But one should really, with all that love and affection and engrossment, one should really chant. Being engrossed, one should really, really chant the holy names of the Lord loudly without any reservation. So that is when, after he did that, after he did sadhana and Bhauma Vrindavan, then he went to Goloka. That's how the story ends. So we can imagine the very importance of giving up all hesitation to loudly chant the holy names of the Lord. Even Narada Muni's life, the same thing happened. Yes, he took the remnants of the Bhakti Vedantas. His heart was cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam happened. But then later, only when he started chanting the holy names of the Lord loudly, slowly that purification, the intensification of bhakti happened. As he traveled alone in the state through many provinces, he once sat down under a tree and through meditation, what happened? He saw the Lord face to face. So to see the Lord face to face, what should we do? Loudly, without any reservation, with full affection, we have to chant the holy names of the Lord. Thereafter, he served the saintly persons from time to time, and while chanting the holy names without expecting any respect, yet ready to offer all respect to others. Trinadapi Shunichena Karoriva Sahishnuna Ammanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. This entire life story of Narada Muni is there in the Sikshashtakam verses. So he served saintly persons from time to time, and while chanting the holy names without expecting any respect, yet ready to offer all respect to others. This is when, actually, in one sense, it is easy, not if with training. I'm not saying it's easy, but with some training, with some telling, 100 people telling us, maybe we can try and train our mind not to expect any respect from others. But then are we really ready to offer all respect to others? Or the vice versa. With some training, maybe we are taught to offer respect to everyone, maybe artificially. But are we ready to just say that if nobody respects me, it's still okay? It's very difficult. Same thing, tolerance and humility. Humility sometimes is very easy. At least people artificially can do it. But tolerance becomes very difficult for some people. For some people, tolerance is okay, but real humility is very difficult. So to have all the four, humility, tolerance, giving respect to others, expecting no respect in return, that is actually very difficult. So, but that is how one should actually progress. One should serve the saintly persons from time to time. One should chant the holy names loudly without expecting any return, without expecting any respect, and yet ready to offer respect to others. Narada Muni, what did he do? He left his body and he attained the position of Lord Hari's associate. He saw the Lord face to face, and in his next birth, he became an eternal associate of the Lord. Such a beautiful story. Let's see how Bhagavatam weaves the story. I wanted to say a few things from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, let's see. So Srimad Bhagavatam, as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions, is there in chapter 4 and 5 of first canto, the story of Narada Muni. How did it all start? Narada Muni's path to devotional service. In text number 25 of chapter 4, he says, only once by their permission, I took the remnants of their food. Whose food? This Narada Muni, he took the remnants of the food of the Bhakti Vedantas only once. And what happened after that? By doing so, all my sins at once was eradicated. Just by taking that with full faith, taking the remnants of a Vaishnava with full faith, with a lot of respect, just once, one's sins can all be eradicated. Such a powerful medicine. Thus being engaged, Narada says, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of transcendentalists became attractive to me. So what did he do? He took the remnants only once with full faith. And when he took that remnants, the sins had vanished. He became very purified in heart, and he also wanted to live the life of a transcendentalist. Meaning, he thought, this is what I should also be doing. I should search after the absolute truth. I should become like them. I should also become a devotee. So this is what happens. This is exactly the step-by-step progress of a devotee once he takes the remnants of another Vaishnava with full faith. First, the sins are cleansed. Then he becomes so pure in heart. And thirdly, he also wants to become a devotee like the Mahabhagavat that he has met. He also wants to see the Lord face to face. Prabhupada, very nicely in the purport, he says, actually, this pure devotion is very infectious. Like an infectious disease. If you're taking the remnants of a person who is diseased, what will happen? You'll also get that disease, right? If a person is infected with some bacterial infection and his saliva has the bacteria, you have taken food from the same plate, automatically you're going to catch that infection. There is no doubt about it. It works immediately. Like that, this pure devotee, he is infected with this disease of bhakti. And the minute you take that remnants, what happens? It starts acting on you. And Prabhupada says it is infectious disease in a good sense. He clarifies in the purport. He doesn't say it's something bad. He says it's very, very good. It is in a good sense. And because a pure devotee is cleared of all sins, automatically you will also get cleared of all sins. So the infection of material qualities is removed from your heart. by the purity of the association of these devotees and by eating the remnants of the foodstuffs, immediately purification happens. And Prabhupada says, a neophyte devotee, if at all he gets to do this, he becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of that pure devotee, which means attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead's name, fame, qualities, pastimes, etc. What do we mean by the phrase that Narada Muni also desired to become like them? It means he also wanted to become a devotee. But what kind of devotee? What kind of thing did he desire? That is mentioned in the purport of Prabhupada. Prabhupada says when Narada took this remnant, he got purified and he developed a desire to become like these devotees who have attraction for chanting the holy names, glorifying the Lord, being absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. This is what the great Bhakti Vedantas are doing. This is what the great devotees are doing. So when you take that Mahaprasad, automatically you also develop a desire to constantly think about the Lord, to constantly chant about the Lord, to constantly meditate on the pastimes of the Lord. So the infection of the qualities of the pure devotees means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion, always in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the real infection transfer. The real infection is the desire to continuously chant and glorify the Lord. That is automatically transferred. So next time, when we all get an opportunity to serve a Mahabhagavat, to serve a great Vaishnav, never ever lose the opportunity to take the prasadam. Mahaprasad, that is the remnants. Of course, every spiritual master has their own rules. You can take with permission, you can take without permission. It depends on the Vaishnava. You can ask for permission. You can take the remnants, and that way we can definitely be infected with their wonderful qualities. Then what happened? What happened to Narada after he got infected? It says that in the association and by the mercy of those Bhakti Vedantas, what did he do? The infection had got transferred, right? So what happened? Narada Muni says, I could hear them describe the activities, attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing about the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Text number 26. So what did he do? He took the remnants. His heart was getting purified. He had an attraction. Even I want to do this. Even I want to chant and hear the glories of the Lord. And immediately, by the mercy of those Bhakti Vedantas, he began to hear. Bhakti starts with Shravanam. So he began to hear attentively from these Bhakti Vedantas. And while listening attentively, the taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord started increasing at every single step. Prabhupada, again in the purport, he mentions by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, what happens? One contacts the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. And he can actually see the Lord face to face if he is very, very serious, if he is very, very serious in chanting the holy names of the Lord, and if he is absorbed in hearing about the glories of the Lord. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentively hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources, as Sri Narada heard from the pure devotees in his previous life. The process of hearing in the association of devotees is especially recommended in this age of Kali. And eventually, as you hear, as these pastimes get set in your heart, you should also be able to chant the glories of the Lord continuously. Then, what happened to Narada Muni? So he developed taste for hearing. He started continuously thinking about the Lord. And Narada Muni in the next verse, he says, I got a taste of the personality of Godhead. Oftentimes they say, you hear about Krishna and develop a taste for him. Right? We quoted the story of Rukmini Devi. Just by hearing about the Lord, she developed so much taste that she just wanted the Lord, just the Lord. As her husband, and eventually by hearing she perfected. So Narada Muni says that after that I got a taste for the personality of Godhead. My attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. This is the next step. When you hear, your attention should become unflinching. You may be doing 100 things physically, but your ears should constantly go to that katha. It can come with some training. We can be doing a million things physically. Some people are cooking, some people are cleaning, some people are washing. You could be doing so many different things. Some people are even doing office work. I have seen some devotees, they log in with their headphones from work, like we see some devotees who have joined today. And where is their attention? Where is their ears? It is all in the katha. They are also doing some work, but their full attention is towards the katha. So, yeah. So my attention to hear about the Lord was unflinching. My taste was developed. I could realize that it was only because of ignorance that I accepted a gross and subtle coverings, for both the Lord and I are transcendental. So as you're hearing more and more, as you're chanting the holy names of the Lord, what is happening? Purification is happening, right? With purification, what really happens? You understand that all this is you are covered by ignorance. This gross body and subtle body is nothing but a covering of ignorance. Your absorption increases so much that you come to the point that only I exist and the Lord exists, meaning I am pure soul and I am a servant of the Lord. That understanding comes when you are completely absorbed in the service of the Lord, or completely absorbed in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Then nothing of the material world will affect you, just like how we saw in Ananta's case. What happened in Ananta's case? He was so absorbed in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. He was so absorbed that the weight of these universes didn't even bother him, right? Similarly, Narada Muni is also telling that once you get so absorbed, once your taste develops, Narada Muni is saying, I could realize that it was only my ignorance that I thought I have a gross body and I have a subtle body, because I came to the realization that both the Lord and I are transcendental, and I just exist to serve the Lord. So that kind of realization comes to that person, and nothing of this material world really affects them. Prabhupada in the purport, he says, by ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongfully thinks that both he and the Lord are products of material nature. But in fact, the personality of Godhead and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with this material nature. When that ignorance is removed, he's perfectly realized and he understands that nothing can exist without the personality of Godhead. He becomes completely dependent on the personality of Godhead. And yet he uses his gross and subtle body in the service of the Lord in the form of Navaveda Bhakti. Prabhupada ends the purport like that. Again, he brings Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. He puts everything together and he says, though you're not identifying with your body at this point in time, you are engaging your gross and your subtle senses in the service of the Lord. That way, all your gross and subtle senses are also purified, and you understand you are the servant of the Lord and you're not bothered with the things of this material world. And then Narada Muni said, after I came to this point, during the two seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great soul sages and constantly chant the unadulterated glories of Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance just vanished. Everything vanished. All these adulterated coverings that we have in our body, as you get into the flow of devotional service. Prabhupada, he writes in the purport, as the river flows on till she reaches the sea, similarly, pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotees till it reaches the ultimate goal, namely transcendental love of God, which is prema. So, with the flow, what is the flow? The flow is holding on to the association of devotees. In that flow, you should just keep going. You should keep performing devotional service till you reach prema. So like that, Narada Muni, he covers his story. He says, these are the different steps. And like this, I attained perfection. So that's about Narada Muni's story. We'll move on to the next few verses. Veda dharma yoge nana shastra kari vyasa भक्तिलार्धेक चित्तेन हि वासेन प्रकाश महागोप्य ज्ञानी भक्ति बलिला संक्षेपे सबये अपराध चित्तेर विक्षेपे नारदेर वाक्ये बाकी करिला विस्तारे ताबे मानो दुःख गेला तारीला samsare. After compiling many, who else? We saw the story of Narada Muni, we saw the story of Sesha. Who else? The other person is Vyasadeva. So, after compiling many scriptures dealing with the Vedic religious principles and yoga, Vyasadeva did not feel any satisfaction at heart. This was also there in the first canto. The cause of his dissatisfaction was due to the fault of describing devotional service too briefly. This is a fault. That is what happened with Mukunda too. He did not give enough importance and respect to devotional service by mixing with the Mayavatis. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling, right? The same fault, in one sense, happened with Vyasa also. See, read this very carefully. After compiling many scriptures dealing with Vedic religious principles of yoga, Vyasadeva did not feel any satisfaction in heart. If we are not performing bhakti properly, there is no satisfaction in the heart. The cause of this dissatisfaction was due to the fault of describing devotional service too briefly in the course of his elaborate presentation of the most confidential knowledge. On the instructions of Narada, he elaborately described the devotional service. When his distress was vanquished, he delivered the entire world. What to talk about people like us? Even Vyasadeva, who is the author of all the scriptures, even he felt dissatisfaction because he didn't give enough importance to bhakti. But once he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, once he gave that importance to bhakti, what happened in his life? He felt satisfied. That is not enough. The whole world feels satisfied. He gave this Bhagavatam and he delivered the entire world. That is the magic of distributing bhakti. First, we should relish bhakti. We should also distribute bhakti. Paropakar. So give it to everybody. And of course, this is in Canto 1, Chapter 4, the story of Vyasadeva. We'll see a few parts from Canto 1, Chapter 4. I'll just put it down in my notes. I will explain it. I won't do screenshot for that part. I'll just explain it from my notes. So, let's see what happened in the life of Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, he was very, very kind to all the ignorant masses. Of course, it was the age of Kali. He felt very compassionate. He wanted to help everybody. And he edited the Vedas. You all know he put it into 4 classifications: Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva Vedas. Jiva Goswami, he gives this example of a treasure chest. Imagine you have a chest of jewels, and there are pearls, rubies, diamonds, and say sapphires and whatever, different kinds of jewels. So Vyasa's job was to pick similar jewels and put them in separate boxes. That's what happened in the case of classifying the Vedas. The mantras and the other, everything of the Vedas was all mixed up. He just put them in relevant sections and he gave us the 4 Vedas. And he thought that this is not enough. Out of sheer compassion for the people in the age of Kali who cannot understand the Vedas very easily, he also gave them the Mahabharata. Right? Mahabharata is useful for people in all walks of life. It is not only for the exalted sannyasis or brahmanas or great sages living in the forest. The Mahabharata is actually relatable to most people in materialistic life in one sense. So it has all the different rasas and we can relate to it very nicely, the stories of all these people. So he gave the Mahabharata for the less intelligent pretty much. And but in spite of doing all this, he was thinking that he's doing paropakar, right? He's helping the whole world. He was doing all this, he gave all this, but still, he had even written the 18 Puranas. He had written the Puranas. And in spite of this, he was not at all satisfied. He thought he was engaging in the total welfare of people, but still he was not satisfied. Prabhupada, he says, it was expected that he would be satisfied by all activities, but ultimately he was not satisfied. Now, once he understood that I had to be satisfied, but I am not satisfied, the sage, who was dissatisfied at heart, he again began to reflect. He knew the essence of religion. He knew the essence of religion within his own heart, but he didn't know what was stopping him. What was stopping him from feeling happy? Okay, he had not glorified devotional service enough, basically. He had sprinkled devotional service in different places, in different Puranas, and so many places. He had written about devotional service, but he had not glorified it enough. And he knew something was troubling him. So he began to reflect, and he was thinking within himself, I have undergone all the disciplinary vows. I have worshipped the Vedas. I have worshipped spiritual masters. I've done big sacrifices. I have written on everything in disciplic succession. I've even written the Mahabharata, thinking that the Mahabharata is very, very easy for people to read. But still, I'm feeling incomplete. I feel that I thought that I've given everything to the world, but still I feel very incomplete. I don't know what is bothering me. Then as he's reflecting like this, he tells himself, is this because I did not specifically point out devotional service of the Lord? So this is a very nice lesson for all of us. Sometimes when we are doing bhakti and we are realizing we are having some stumbling blocks, we are having some problems, the first step is to introspect. Okay. Immediately we don't run for help. I mean, this is what Vyasadeva did, and it's a very nice formula, basically, that is presented. Vyasadeva first introspected for himself. Okay. Once he first took help of himself, that is the first step. Try to think for yourself, because you can be most truthful to yourself. Only you know yourself the best, right? So introspect for yourself and try to find out what really is the problem. In spite of it, if you're not able to understand, then go to a confidential devotee and express your problem. This is what Vyasa also did. Sometimes when we go to our friend or a confidential devotee and we want to express our problem, obviously they are going to encourage us. But sometimes there is no guarantee that they will give you the right solution. I mean, what do you say? They will try to encourage you, but there is no guarantee that this person will actually point out the faults very easily, very openly. Some people will, some people may not. So the first thing you do is actually talk to yourself, introspect, think about it very rationally. So Vyasadeva also did that. He said, this may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is so dear to both the perfected beings and the infallible Lord. Both Achyuta and all the great devotees, for them, only bhakti is very important. Maybe I did not glorify bhakti enough. So that could be the problem I'm actually facing. He thought about it. Okay. First step, he introspected and he thought about it. But he didn't stop there. He reconfirmed it. He reconfirmed the problem once Narada Muni came. He reconfirmed it. So this is also something we can learn. Yes, we can introspect and then we can take advice of others. But if we have something in our heart, that this could be the reason why I'm facing these stumbling blocks, or this could be the reason why I'm not doing this devotional service properly, then you can reconfirm with the devotee. You can ask the devotee, is this the reason? And they will be more comfortable to tell you if that is really the reason. Okay? It becomes easier for them also to counsel. So Narada Muni, he walks in, and obviously Vyasadeva, he offers a seat, and he tells Narada to sit. And then he asks Narada Muni, why is it that I'm not feeling happy in my heart? And then Narada Muni says, yes, it appears that you already know the answer, but however, you have not glorified the Lord enough. Whatever you have written so far is jugupsitam. Jugupsita means detestable. It was a heavy feedback that he received. Why? Because he was open to receiving feedback. Vyasadeva was open. He said, I know I have a problem and I think this is the problem. Can you correct me? Can you reaffirm what I'm thinking? And Narada says, yes, it is detestable. Whatever you have done, you're simply encouraging people to engage in all these karma kanda and other activities. You have not glorified bhakti enough. Once you glorify bhakti enough, once you rewrite the Srimad Bhagavatam and present it beautifully, then the whole world will be able to accept it, and it will be the true benefit for the entire universe. And that's why the first 3 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, if you notice the second verse, it is Dharma Projita Kaitava Atra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mudanam. Right? I'll open up that verse. That is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is just not any scripture, like so many scriptures that is found in the world. It is Dharma Projita Kaitava. It kicks out all these cheating religions. Dharma Projita Kaitava. Atra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam. Here we go. 112. We read the translation. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth. It is not just telling you how to be happy in this world. It is propounding the highest truth, which is understandable by devotees who are pure in heart. The highest truth. What do you mean by highest truth? Highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion. It is reality. There is not a speck of illusion in that reality. And what is that reality distinguished from illusion? It is for the welfare of all living beings. It is not for the welfare of a few people. It is for the welfare of all living beings. It is the highest welfare activity, which is encouraging them not just to go after dharma, artha, kama, moksha, but it also bestows prema. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. Once you're absorbed in bhakti like this, by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the threefold miseries are uprooted because of the absorption that you have in bhakti. This beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, because now, after he was inspired and enlightened by Narada Muni, he came to his maturity. And that Bhagavatam is in itself sufficient for God realization. You don't need to look further. What is the need for any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by the culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within one's heart. Once the Lord is established within one's heart, what happens? You lose taste for everything that is material, and you can be absorbed in bhakti, and all the 3 modes of material nature, they are not troubling you anymore. You become like Ananta. Okay. Let's move on. I think 240 or 241 was the last verse. Let me read those 2 verses. Kita haina manilun muni hena bhakti arato madhe ki bhare ache mora shakti. I am an insignificant creature, for I have not accepted such devotional service. So what power do I have to see you? Again, who's talking this? Mukunda. We are reading from Caitanya Bhagavata. Then Mukunda continues to say, sorry, this is what Mukunda said. Now, our Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says, Bahutuli kandaye Mukunda mahadasa sharira chalaya hena bahe mahashmasa. The great servant Mukunda raised his arms and cried. He breathed so heavily that his body began to shake. Okay, we'll stop here. 241 is where we have stopped. And we'll see if there are any questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Mataji.
Dhanavad Pranam. It's a very, very beautiful session. I was just sitting at one place and was listening your katha, and was thinking that it was such a perfect blend of Caitanya Bhagavat with Srimad Bhagavat. Like, yes, in the starting you quoted from Brahma Vaivarta Puran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But later it was, for me, it was as if you are giving Srimad Bhagavatam session. It was very beautiful. And the way you explained both the pastimes, yes, we have heard it so many times. And still there is everything, every time when we hear these pastimes, something new comes up. Like this Vyasadeva pastime you said. But yes, Vyasadeva knew very well that the reason for his despondency. And The very, very beautiful way you brought out that sometimes when we also feel that our devotional service is not up to the mark, it's so important that we introspect. First is introspect where we are going wrong. It's so important. We try to blame others, we try to blame circumstances, but we don't introspect like what is the reason for the lack of my devotional service. That's a beautiful point that I learned today. So thank you, Mataji. Very, very wonderful session. Very beautifully you presented with the perfect blend of Chaitanya Bhagavat and Srimad Bhagavat. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. And sorry, Yashomati Mataji, please take over.
Thank you,
No,
Kirtida.
Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Kirtida Mataji. And I was just reading out of the purports because I don't know what else to do. So, but thank you.
Yes, Mataji, we also sometimes read out purports, but when somebody else explains, it outshines. It feels that we have missed out something and we are reading out on our own. So that
Thank you.
realization is very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. I'm totally accept whatever Kirtida Mataji said. But today's so many lessons, and you talk about glorification of the devotional service, how it is so important, and by how we can get that thing. So if you just association with a pure devotee or some Vaishnava or Vaishnavis, and then you ask them, then you can also glorify the name, and you can chant very fine, good, and then also you chant and you also meditate. So if the infected, whoever have a bhakti infected person, they can give you the same path and you can get same thing. Mataji, is very, very nice. And how we always should develop our desire to do the chant, the Lord's name and Lord's pastime and everything, and glorify the Lord's activities. It's very, very nice. But Mataji, I say, when it will come, whatever Kirtida Mataji, Sundari Mataji says, that we should, and you also just say, we should do introspect ourselves, right? So sometimes right now, since last some days, I don't know why, but I get feel sleepy little bit. So after class and chanting done, I just sleep. But I don't know why it happens. I just started taking medicine more. So I don't know, Mataji, what is going on. So I am feel like that. I am fall down like that from my devotional service. So Mataji, can you say something about that?
Mataji, it's because you're taking medicines. It's okay.
No, but I don't like Mataji. I feel something, even though I just hear the Bhagavatam class after with my Prabhu, because he say, okay, right now you can sleep and we will hear together. So we always do together hearing.
Beautiful.
But I am also, Mataji, not so fast. I am so slow in chanting also. So I don't I cannot do more reading and hearing the other things. Even though I just do the classes for reading Bhagavatam class or something, but still I feel like that I am not lack something.
Mataji, you're fine because you're chanting in the morning. You're taking your time to chant very nicely and clearly. There is no harm in taking rest. We all have a material body. Okay, we have body with limitations. Please take rest and log into the class along with your Prabhu. I mean, you said along with him after you rest, you're hearing the class. Continue to do that, Mataji. If your body is rested well, automatically your absorption will increase. If we are trying to push ourselves when we are not able to, it's not very good. It's not a very healthy sign. So nicely take rest, relax, and then you come back. And when you're awake, have that full absorption, Mataji. That is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Don't fight your sleep. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Okay. Yeah, but Mataji, pray for me.
I will pray, definitely. Definitely.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Sukha Kar Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I just came running. I saw you were talking. I was in some other work. When I saw Kirtida, when we were talking, that then Preeti Madhya came running. So I only heard half. But from all the discussion last 3-4 days, it's only devotional service going on here and there about Prahlad Katha also. Though I don't hear the class, I recorded message I see from Gaurang Darshan Prabhu yesterday evening and all Keshavanand Prabhu. So I think we have to use our body just for the service of the Lord, nothing else. Our eyes only to see Krishna, our ears to only hear about Katha, and our tongue for only chanting and Krishna discussion, and our heart only for Krishna only, nothing else. This is what the long and short. So, and you told about devotional service. Devotional service, the power will increase when we are totally absorbed. Then we'll be able to understand the quality of devotional service increasing. So your today's class was so good that I'm just trying how I can get more and more absorbed, and nothing should penetrate, and all this Kam, Krodh, Moh, Madhya should be just out. I think this all will go out when we chant 24 hours, but I'm not able to do that. I'm keeping the clicker in hand. It goes, sometimes it doesn't go. I think if we chant 24/7, while Khaite, Shuite, Boshite, Utite, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to Ishwar Puri that I don't know, after my initiation, while sitting, eating, sleeping, wherever I'm only chanting, I'm pagol hoye galam. And Ishwar Puri is telling, that is what I want. He's become mad after Krishna. So let us all pray that, Narasimhadev removes all the Vigna Vinash of Narasimhadev, and we all are able to unconsciously, with subconscious mind, everywhere we chant, whether we sleep or not, whether we are standing, sitting. So if that state comes, then like Prahlad Maharaj was protected, he was put in the fire, nothing happened because Krishna was embracing us completely. So we'll also get the embrace of Krishna. Sorry, I didn't give a lecture. Don't feel that
No.
class.
What you're saying, no, Prabhu. Actually, what you're saying is so true. We hope that someday we come there.
No, you're already there.
No, I know myself.
Don't cheat. Don't
My
cheat.
introspection, I know. But yes, Prabhu, hoping.
The way you recite the verses and all, you're a perfect Vaishnavi, and I think you are the Andal has come now as Preeti. Andal has come. And you were in Ramayana. I think you were in some role in Ramayana. I don't know what. You were in the Ramayana Katha.
No, Prabhu, I don't have so much taste. So. But you bless me, Prabhu, hopefully. Yes, someday.
Radha Krishnan Mathiru. So I am not qualified, but still, age-wise I am elder. Radha Krishnan Mathiru.
You're my father. Please bless me.
But quality-wise, you are a higher soul. I am still down.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All the best, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
The awesome class, the best. Nothing to beat. Preeti Mataji. All are good. I'm not trying to look down upon anybody else. All are good. Kirtana Mataji, she is a doctorate. She is that Kadambini. Madhuri Kadambini.
Doctorate Kadambini, she is.
Yeah. She should be called as doctor now. Dr. Kirtana Kadambini Mataji.
Nice naming, bro.
I think Bhakti Sangha, its group itself is a Goloka group. It's not here. And this Vinita Mataji is serving so much. I don't know where she sleeps. And she's 24 hours I'll see in the mobile.
She never sleeps, bro.
I think while sleeping also she'll be working somewhere. Sleeping and doing some work.
Yes. I've never seen her sleep.
And she had a bad throat, but still she was talking.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
Yes. And Shama Gori, everybody is the best. I think I feel like jumping and coming to Bhakti Sangha there.
Someday everyone should meet in person.
The startup people have called me to Paris and UK and Midland. I got this temple work there for 7 days. They call from 9 June to 16 June, and my passport is expired. I had to go and change it. And then I don't know if Krishna wants. I'll come. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Who was next? Anita Mataji, maybe? And then Akshar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very, very wonderful class with all the pastimes and very nicely described about the devotion service through Narada. And in the class, you were saying that whatever we do, we have to be attentive in hearing the katha, right? So many times it happens with me, like I used to do some work and hearing the katha, so hearing the lecture or class, whatever it is. So, but what happens is that absorption is not there, Mataji. Even okay, if I sit and hear also, I don't get that absorption sometimes. But sometimes, maybe some once in a while, I'll get that attentive mood, and I will be sitting, and that day I will feel, oh, the class was really so wonderful. So, but this doesn't happens every time. I don't know, somewhere I'm lagging or what, I don't know, Mataji. And one more thing, yeah, I just want you to say something about that. And one more thing is about the offenses you were saying, right? So when we are going down, so we think that we have done the offenses. So is it that only the reason or anything else, Mataji?
Offenses, inattention, lack of interest. There could be so many reasons why you're not doing something. But you try to spring back, and in spite of trying multiple times to spring back, if you're not able to spring back, then you check with some devotees and ask them for help. They will help you, and you can spring back. It's not difficult, Mataji. Meaning you can check your own heart for where you have made offenses, ask for forgiveness. That is one way. Understand maybe it's just, physical body sometimes doesn't cooperate. Sometimes for many people it can happen. So they may not be able to continuously chant or hear. Understand your own situation. Try to take proper help and spring back. That's all. It's just it is all temporary. It's not going to stay there forever. Your problems. It is the blockages in bhakti. But you can go, you can take a booster, you can listen to some nice kirtan, you can attend a kirtan program, you can chant in the presence of Vaishnavas, you can take some remnants of a Vaishnava. All these are great boosters. They will bring you back in bhakti. Yeah. And as you were talking about absorption and hearing, sometimes you're able to hear nicely, sometimes you're not able to hear nicely. It's natural, but with constant practice, it will become a habit that whatever you're doing, your ears will go towards the katha. It comes with practice. Keep doing it. Keep doing it like 10 years, 15 years, it will come, Mataji. That's how bhakti also progresses for everybody, right? We keep chanting for many years, we keep hearing for many years, then it becomes a part of your life. That's all. So don't worry, at least you're able to hear few lectures attentively. That is great. Then later you'll be, if you're able to hear 5 lectures in a month very attentively, next month you'll be able to hear 10 lectures. It is a progressive thing. With practice, it will come, Mataji. Surely it will come, guarantee.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Please pray and bless me, Mataji.
Unless you consciously decide to mute or shut down, that is different. But if you are awake, because I'm also telling from my own experience, if I mute or I consciously decide I'm not going to listen to this, then you will not listen, right?
Yeah,
but
that happens.
You will listen. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Akshara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the Nectarian Krishna Katha. So my question is related to absorption only, because in my mind I want to serve more and more, but practically I'm not able to do that much, because even if I go to temple, like we shouldn't stay all the time in front of the deities, rather engage in the service, so that we should do seva, so that Lord should want to see us, like who is that devotee. And like we have something in mind that we want name and fame, and then we probably, if we sometime donate, we want acknowledgement for that. So these, like, how to increase it, like not able to even focus on Bhakti Shastri a lot. And how to, like, there is order of like in even in chanting, we should at least try to chant in a Brahma Muhurat in a single go, but it's still not so doesn't happen all the 7 days throughout the week. Sometimes you're like mind cheats us, and we try to okay, I'll chant with on a Zoom call, I'll chant with Prabhupada, but I know that I have to chant on my own and to do attentive round I have to be alone. But still like mind is always like trying to cheat me. So how to have more and more absorption, and like if sometime I'm doing one Zoom call and one Teams call, trying to do more, but unable to do anything.
Correct. Yeah, Prabhu, everybody's problem, and this is how the mind works. But one thing we can do is we can put up a schedule for ourselves, practical schedule. For some people, what we try to do is we try to work out something impractical because we have heard it in some classes. Okay, this is the highest standard. I want to achieve the standard immediately. It doesn't happen like that. Put practice depending on your situation, for you, based on your lifestyle, based on what is practical for you. Everybody is different. Every individual is different. Based on what is practical for you, you put a schedule. Okay, if I can do chanting from say 5 to 6:30 or 5 to 7, I'm just giving a time. It doesn't have to be that time. But try to do it at one go, right? Do what is practical for you. Okay, I need 6 hours of sleep, or I need 7 hours, or I need 7.5 hours. It can be based on your body type. Do what is practical and make that consistent. Once you make that consistent, whatever is practical, don't aim too high. That is always my suggestion. I don't know, that's how I think, that we should not try to jump too high immediately. Take simple, consistent goals. Maybe one goal that you want to take is chanting at a stretch, 16 rounds in one sitting. Choose a suitable time in the morning. Of course, you don't have to do it in the evening or afternoon. Do it in the morning time only, but whatever works practically for you. And try to do that at one go. Put that as a schedule. Keep practicing that. Maybe 1 year, 2 year, then you can tweak your goals. Maybe I can wake up half. That will be your next goal. If you do that, Prabhu, over a period of time, you'll be able to achieve all that you're trying to do. Like, for example, Shravanam. Okay, I want to hear Bhagavatam class. I want to hear Caitanya Bhagavat class. That can be a very simple goal everyone has. Just set that goal. Don't aim too high. Just those two goals. Try to achieve it. And eventually you can add, okay, I want to join an evening class, like that. Or I want to read I want to have a study time for myself. I want to read Srila Prabhupada's books, 1 chapter a day. Put that as a goal. But do it on a practical level, because everybody has a lot of things to do. We have multiple commitments. Every person's life is different. Every person's bodily capabilities are different. Your mental capabilities are different. Your intellectual capabilities are different. And remember, bhakti is for everybody. It doesn't discount anyone. Maybe you're not able to, intellectually participate or physically participate in some activities, in some bhakti activities, but it doesn't mean that you're out of bhakti. Krishna loves everybody. Krishna has included everybody. Do as much as you can. Make simple goals. Keep it consistent. Then you can tweak it to make it very, very beautiful and very, strict and all that. So whatever vows you have taken, keep it simple initially. Then you can improvise. This is the formula I always feel works for everyone. And I feel every individual is different. We should accommodate everybody in bhakti. Yeah.
Like if I'm reading after an hour or so, I feel like I should read all day. If I'm listening, after an hour, it's like I should binge watch the videos and like listen to every
Correct.
but still practically it's not like possible.
It's okay. It's okay. That intention you have, right, Prabhu? I want to do it. I feel like doing it. That craving you have, that is what Krishna is saying, right? It's okay. Practically, you have to go to your office meetings. You have a family, you have children, you have wife, you have so many things to take care of. Krishna sees all that. And he's a very compassionate Lord. He just sees your desire, how much you have, how much love and concern you have for him. Try to do as much as you can when you're traveling, maybe headphones, Even between team calls, I do that too. Between team calls, switch on your classes. So we can accommodate as much as we can. Work out practical goals, Prabhu. It'll work, Prabhu. I mean, just that intention, right? That's all Krishna is saying. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Very grateful to you and very nice question and answers.
Thank you, Mataji, Vanita. Mataji, see, she's joining from work. And her ears are here. Yeah, another classic example. Yes, yes, Sushilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam at your lotus feet, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, I am also on the same boat, joining from work parallelly. Yes,
Very
nose,
nice.
mouth. Yeah, everything. Thank you, Prabhu, for asking the question. And Mataji, thank you so very much for answering it directly reflected and to me. So thank you. You explain like a what to say, like a you open the banana and give us the inner part of the banana for us. That's how sweet you explain your classes and the answers also. You make it so simple, like a like a mother, though age wise we are not, but like a mother and a daughter, like a soothing answer. So that's how I felt, Mataji. I'm
Even I
just
feel
trying
like
to.
that, Mataji. Thank you for telling that.
Yeah, so sweet. I just wanted to express my feelings on how the answer, how you resolved or gave your suggestions. Krishna sees the intentions. That is what is the first and most priority. And then actions would come in automatically. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Haribol to
Mataji.
you.
Thank you so much for speaking. Thank you, Mataji. And thank you for joining from work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. You are continuously chanting for us. Thank you.
I'm not. I'm trying.
Thank you. Okay, let me see if I missed any questions. Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you, dear. Yes, Akshar Prabhuji.
Mataji, is there a list of how many meetings Bhakti Sangha conducts throughout the week, like a schedule or so?
Yeah.
Can you please share that information?
Yes, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do it. You're there on the WhatsApp group, right, Prabhuji?
I don't believe so.
You're not on the WhatsApp group. Well, first, we'll add you then. Yeah. Okay. We'll add you. Yes.
So many meetings, so many for children, these, that. It never ends.
Yes, I will add you definitely. Akshar Prabhu has given his number. Vinita, if you can you give the link to join? Or let me see if I can do that. Or Kirtida Mataji, anyone? Link to join the group?
Community group, right? Should I post it on the chat box?
Yes, Kirtida. Community.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have one question.
Yes.
So while you're explaining, or we hear a lot the same point over and over, that our Vyas Maharaj, Vyasa Muni, he himself is Krishna coming in the form of knowledge and giving. So, so at that point we say, though the Lord himself came in as Vyas Bhagwan, gave the scriptures, but then he is not satisfied. At that point, we don't mention it multiple times, though we say he's not satisfied multiple times. All the times we don't mention it, that it's the Leela him itself within him for others who are, you know what I'm trying to say. We don't mention it. Without mentioning it, like a person like me listening to it again gets to a doubt, like, why again? Lord himself is coming. Why again he's not satisfied? And then go back, think about it, saying, so is it uh, from a teaching perspective, should we mention it every time when we are expressing, coming to that point, or does it depend upon the audience? What do you think, Mansi? You would like to listen?
Yeah, so yes, good point, actually. It's a good habit to also mention that he was covered by Leela Shakti of the Lord and Leela Shakti, and that's how these pastimes happen. A lot of Krishna's pastimes, a lot of these, even Lord Ramchandra's pastimes, a lot of Vyasadeva. This particular Vyasadeva, according to Jiva Goswami, was directly the Lord. He was just not any empowered incarnation, Jiva Goswami says. So certain pastimes, yes, they are to perform a Leela, they are covered by Leela Shakti and they do certain things. Yes, depending on the audience, we can disclose this every time, or we can disclose it in every class, or we can do it according to the audience. But thank you for that suggestion. Next time we'll keep that in mind. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. So we, those who didn't join the WhatsApp group, we have Kirtida Mataji has put the link to join the WhatsApp, and Bhakti Sangha has also put the link to join the WhatsApp. So you can join by clicking the chat. You don't even have to give your number, just click on that and you'll be able to join. Okay, if anyone else hasn't joined the group, once you join the group, you will keep getting, we will trouble you by sending announcements constantly till you all join. We are a big torture group. So you'll be very, very blissfully tortured once you get into the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Not torturing, it is blissful blessing, not torturing.
Blissful blessings.
Mataji, sorry to interrupt. If we don't see Vinita Mataji's message early in the morning, that's a big torture.
Oh,
if we see the message, then that's not a torture.
Yeah, especially Vinita. If she doesn't put something, then everybody is worried. Vinita, are you okay? Vinita, are you okay? One day Vinita Mataji doesn't show up, the whole world stops.
Very true, Mataji. Very
She's
addicted.
the heartbeat of Bhakti Sangha.
Bhakti Sangha.
Heartbeat of Bhakti Sangha. Yeah. Everybody is texting her, are you okay? And then her husband receives calls. How come Vinita is missing?
Mataji, one follow-up. How many types of Shaktis are there, Mataji? Like you mentioned now, Leela Shakti. So lot of Lord comes in multiple forms, right? Multiple Leelas. So is it something like categorized as a Leela Shakti, or are there any other? Just curious, Mataji.
There are many Shaktis of the Lord. Like Mataji, I don't know if you attended the Madhurya Kadamini class by Kirtida Mataji last week. She showed about 8 Shaktis. Is that right, Kirtida?
Yes, Mataji. They all are in the form of a lotus petals, and the whirl is the final Anugraha Shakti. But there are only few that has been mentioned, but otherwise the Shaktis of Lord are innumerable like the waves in the ocean.
Yeah. So those are some primary Shaktis. We can send you a screenshot of that slide of Mataji's. Maybe you can read through it and understand it.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. And we can end the call here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Thank
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mataji,
you,
for
Mataji.
your
Thank you so much,
very
Mataji.
beautiful
Thank you,
class.
devotees. Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference की जय. Very good.
Thank
Srila
you.
Prabhupada की जय, हरे कृष्ण विलासिनी माता जी की जय।
Jai ho
Chaitanya Bhagavata
Gauranga
Jai.
Nityananda
Gauranga,
Nityananda Gauranga
Hare
Gauranga
Krishna,
Nityananda
Gauranga,
जय
Nityananda.
जय श्री राधे श्याम सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम वहां पर नदी
हरि
धाम की जय
बोल।
जगन्नाथ धाम की जय हो भक्ति
जय।
संगा की जय हो थैंक यू
Jai Ho.
Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhu
हरे
ki
कृष्ण
Jai Ho.
हरे कृष्ण